Assalamu Alikom, everyone, and welcome back to another episode on the Modern Muse Conversations podcast. My name is Gaida, and I am your host today. As y'all can tell, I am in a completely different setting. I am outside, and I have a new microphone, and I don't have a little thing to stick my microphone on, so we are using my Ole Hendrickson lip gloss as our microphone holder today, so bear with me. This is my favorite shade, by the way. This is in Cocoa Cream. As you can tell by the video today, we are talking a lot about how we can balance our school, work, and our ibadah all in one. As you may know, I am in my second and final year in college. I have a lot of experience, I would say. I kind of combined my 4 years into 2 years, and alhamdulillah, I'm able to graduate earlier. If you're anything like me, you know, your semester could be literally all lectures and work and a giant blur. And between lectures and assignments and work, you really just don't have the time to live or experience life or go slow and steady or even include some time in your busy schedule for your ibadah. So today, I just wanted to share how I have been able to balance school, work, and my ibadah all in one within the busy semester, within, you know, the busyness of life and being a part of leadership stuff and running my own business and running my podcast and everything like that. Kind of wanted to share how I have been able to balance all that while keeping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala close, while being in the middle of all the chaos and still trying to be on top of my ibadah and my school and my grades and everything at once, because it can get really overwhelming. But inshallah, today we will try to break down some ways that you can be better at time management. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to get into is shifting your mindset. Understanding that your schedule is your worship. So making every step of your studies, every step of going to class, a intention towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his guidance to feeling grateful to having an education. A lot of people don't get the opportunity to get an education. So shifting your mindset that every little thing that you're doing within even school and studying and taking notes or even attending a lecture, it's a part of intensifying your iman. And when you take every step of your day and putting that intention behind it that you are pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or you are doing X, Y, and Z to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it makes it so much easier to shift from having everything in your life be only towards school or work, and you're only going to work to get money, or you're only going to school to study and take notes and go to lectures. But when you start shifting that mindset of like, I'm going to class today to learn and to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and expand my knowledge, that is where the mindset shifts, and that is where you start turning every little thing that you're doing into your ibadah. And I can't tell if y'all can hear, but there's a little bit of thunder, so I hope I don't get rained out sitting out here. The weather was just so beautiful, subhanallah, and so I needed to sit outside. One of the biggest changes for me was realizing that school and work and all this extra stuff is not any separate from my deen. It can actually become a part of it. So I realized that if I start my day off with the intention of saying something along the lines of, Ya Allah, I am going to class, I'm studying, I'm going to take this exam to expand my knowledge, to help others and teach others about X, Y, and Z. Or even, Ya Allah, I'm going to work to be able to support myself and my dreams and be able to do more to help more people. That alone sets the intention behind what you're doing. So I would say some tips that could help you shift in this mindset and making every little step of what you're doing towards your ibadah is to start everything with Bismillah. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Start your task, start your homework, start studying, you know, getting ready, anything, start with that Bismillah Rahman Rahim, or just Bismillah. Make it simple. I would also say making time for your dua, increasing your ibadah throughout the day. If you are at lunch, on a lunch break, or if you're doing Pomodoro, I like to do that when I'm studying. So 20 to 25-minute work plus 5-minute breaks. So on your 5-minute breaks, you would be doing your ibadah, you'd be doing your tasbih, small things to help enhance your deen throughout, you know, your studies. Making time for that is really, really rewarding, and it helps you because it shows you that you can make time and use your time wisely. And also, it is proven that doing your tasbih or your adhkar in the middle of things that you are feeling stressed about actually makes it a lot less stressful, and it's kind of like a reset. So instead of drinking your Red Bull or your Monster Energy drink, try to do some ibadah. Go salli 2 rak'ahs, even though, you know, you've already prayed whatever up until that point. If you've already prayed dhuhr and you're just waiting for us to adhan, but you could just do some ibadah, or you could pray 2 rak'ahs. Pray anything. Honestly, just put that intention behind it and it makes it so much easier. And if you're struggling with finding the time to pray or finding the time to make ibadah or strengthen your iman through adhkar or dua, then that's the time to do it during your breaks, during your commutes, during, anything. I think it's really important to also understand that even just showing up for class can be a form of ibadah, that you are putting in the time and effort to strengthen your knowledge to soon help other people. As Muslims, we need to be the best in everything we do. And I don't mean in a condescending, egotistical way, but as Muslims, we need to have the best of the best in every field. You need to be the best businesswoman, you need to be the best lawyer, you need to be the best doctor, and prove that Muslims can be the best at everything regardless of what the media is portraying. And so putting your time and effort into being the best and not competitive with your brothers and sisters within the school, but being competitive within yourself, trying to work really hard to be the best in what you're doing, not in a toxic, negative way. Don't twist those mindsets, but knowing that showing up for class is also increasing your ibadah because of the intention that you're putting behind it. And it can also act as an act of worship towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So shifting the mindset, the way you think about your actions, is actually going to make it easier for you to start incorporating ibadah, the dua, the tasbih, everything into your life, into your busy, crazy schedule. The next category here I have is salah first and everything else is second. Build your schedule around your salah. Now you have longer nights and shorter days. Means that our salah is literally like 2 hours apart. Oh wow, the wind is blowing. It's getting chillier. Building your schedule around your salah is the biggest game changer, especially again when the time shifts happen and the salah is literally 2 hours apart from each other. It makes it easier because now you know when the salah is because it's literally 2 hours apart almost. This was the biggest game changer for me in the past because I would literally let class and school and work, everything, dedicate my salah schedule, and that is not how it should be. It should be the other way around, where you are putting your schedule around your salah times. And now that everything's close together, it's kind of easier to plan out your days. You know when you need to take a quick 5-minute break to go salli. And I'd honestly, back in the day, I'd pray it late or I'd miss Jum'ah, and I would pray it 2 minutes before the next one adhaned, and that's not how it should be. Now I plan my day around my salah. That means I know when the salah adhans, I know each salah. Even if I'm at work, I would literally take a 5-minute break to hop in a break room or a meeting room and just pray my dhuhr, pray asr, whatever is coming up. I literally would slot times in my schedule for salah, and then I'd schedule everything else around it. And we can get more into the calendar and how my calendar looks if y'all are interested in that video and how I time block and everything, because I am a time blocking queen. I love time blocking and everything, scheduling, everything. I'm obsessed. Okay, I do have my own Etsy shop where I provide a bunch of templates and planners and all this crazy stuff. So if y'all are interested in that, feel free to check out my Etsy shop with all my digital downloads for your computer or even your iPads, whatever it is. Feel free to download and use them. They're very helpful. And if you want any tutorials, let me know. I have a lot on my TikTok, so feel free to check those out as well. All right, some practical tips I have for this section to help you keep your salah first and everything else second is to use an adhan app. I like Quran Majid. It has Quran, it has the Qibla, it has the salah times, and you can even have a little widget on the corner for your salah times, and it shows it on your homepage or your lock screen, and that's very helpful for me. So it also alerts you at least up to 5 times, I believe, per salah, and that's what I have it set on. So if I miss the first alarm, it will ring again and again and again, and so until I silence it. So that also reminds me that I need to go pray, and it's very helpful, especially when we're on our phones all day and you could get on your iPad or your laptop or something like that. I would also recommend, as a student, if you're commuting or even if you're on campus a lot of the time, keep a small prayer mat. There's a lot of foldable ones that you can just literally stick in your bag. I do that, and I have a foldable one so that I could use it literally anywhere that I'm at. And if you're not hijabi, which is totally fine, keep a small hijab with you so that you are able to pray wherever you need to, in between classes or in between your breaks or anything, and you need to go pray, you have the things that you need to go pray. If you work a corporate job or a job that requires you to be in office, let your manager know ahead of time if you ever need to take that time and go pray elsewhere. If the office doesn't have a place for you to pray, let your manager know ahead of time. You can dip and go pray at a masjid or something, but keeping them in the loop is also very important. I also want to reiterate that even a quick focused salah is better than completely missing your salah. You'd rather pray it instead of missing it. So it doesn't even matter how quickly you need to do it, but stay focused, stay with that intention. Don't miss your salah. When you prioritize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your schedule, subhanallah, you will see that He puts so much more barakah into your life because you are putting in the effort to make that time to connect with Him every single day, 5 times a day or more. And so when He sees that you are putting so much valuable time and energy into connecting with Him throughout your day, He will place so much barakah into your life. And subhanallah, it really does show, and you will feel the beauty and the love of all of it when you start prioritizing your iman and your deen and prioritizing connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout your day, inshallah. My third section here is to keep small, consistent acts of worship throughout your day. It's not about doing everything to strengthen your iman throughout your day, every single day of your life. It's about doing something, one of the things, consistently every single day. So there were semesters where I tried to do absolutely everything in the book. So finishing the Quran, attending halakas, obviously, praying and volunteering and doing all this crazy stuff. And I'd burn out. It was crazy because trying to balance all that with school was most likely it was overwhelming to me. So now I like to pick 1 to 2 small things that I can do daily, but at least it's consistent. I first started off with reading like an ayah every night before I go to bed, and now subhanallah, I've been able to start reading up to 1 page every night before I go to bed. Alhamdulillah, like that just shows what happens when you are consistent and disciplined with something. So choosing something like starting off with 1 ayah every night can be very rewarding, and it ramps you up so that you're able to start doing more every night. And again, when you put that time and effort to grow and strengthen your iman and your deen and your knowledge of the deen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you in so many ways. Back when I first started, I really wanted to make sure that I was spending 2 hours off my phone before I go to bed. So 2 hours before I went to bed every night, I stopped touching my phone, I stopped scrolling on TikTok, watching anything. And in those 2 hours, I prioritized reading the 1 ayah each night, as well as journaling and reading a book or something. The next thing that I'd recommend is doing your adhkar every morning on your way to work, on your way to school, whatever it may be. If you're even walking to your lecture, you have the moment to do your adhkar and do some tasbih on your way. And it shows that you do have the time and that you can incorporate deen and dua into your schedule. Regardless of what you're doing, regardless of where you're at, it just really helps you be able to do that. And subhanAllah, the clouds just cleared up over here, so there's like a bright light in my eyes right now, but subhanAllah, it's so beautiful. Doing some adhkar in the morning on your commute, if you're walking, if you're driving, if you're riding a bus or a train or whatever it may be, it grounds you back in your deen on the little things that you're doing. You're just commuting. You could listen to songs, you could listen to whatever, but you chose to do adhkar, and subhanAllah, that really does brighten up your day, literally. Another one to kind of follow up on that, if you don't want to listen to music and you made your adhkar and now you're like, okay, now what do I do? Now you could listen to a lecture. Find a podcast or a lecture or, a halaqah from whatever place you like to listen to, and listen to it. Definitely do your research on what people you're listening to, and make sure that they're not just like the most famous people and that's why you're listening to them, but really listen to their message, the quality of their content, and see if that's what you're into. If you're not, definitely go on a hunt and try to find people that are. That's what I like to do personally. I like to listen to Bilal Assad now, and his lectures are all on Spotify, and that's what I listen to off of it. And they're amazing. I listen to it while I'm at work, if I listen to it in walking to class, or on a drive. If I'm gonna go somewhere, I literally pull up his lectures. Like, his content is my favorite kind of content. Some of his content is in Arabic, so if you don't fully understand Arabic, that's okay. Find someone that you are more comfortable listening to, and it's just very valuable to find someone and that you're comfortable with and align with, because you have to be very careful with what kind of content you're absorbing nowadays, because people online they deceive the audience. They could say one thing but they do the complete opposite, or they're telling you to do things that are not aligned with Islam. So you really have to learn to take what you can from those videos and leave everything that isn't for you. I'm not saying we can pick and choose our parts of the deen that we listen to, but when it comes to other people sharing that kind of content, if it doesn't align with something that you're aligned with, go research it. If you feel uncomfortable about something they're talking about, go research it on your own. Go look in the Quran, go look in the hadiths, but don't overwhelm yourself with having to absorb every little thing that they say, because again, people make mistakes, and it's better that you take into account that they are making mistakes. So do your research, find someone that you enjoy, and listen to their podcasts. Another thing that I also find very helpful is making dua in between your classes, or if you're online or doing something. Dua and adhkar to me are hand in hand, so either one or the other or both honestly is also amazing. I do both on the commute sometimes, and it's, it just grounds you. If you're feeling frustrated, make some dua. If you're studying and you can't understand a concept, take a second, go pray, make the adhkar, do some dua, and come back, and inshallah it will be a lot easier for you to comprehend your subject. But it really does help you. A hadith that I'd like to share for reference here is, this is from al-Bukhari, and it says that the most beloved deeds to Allah are those that are consistent even if they're small. Again, back to quality over quantity. You don't need to be doing absolutely everything in the book. As long as it's qualitative and it is quality to you and it will help you stay more disciplined and consistent within what you're doing, then do it, because that is what's going to carry you. Don't feel overwhelmed like you have to attend all these halakas or do this and do that. Focus on what's right for you in the moment, and inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it easier for you to incorporate the smaller or more complicated, busier things into your schedule to fit more with your ibadah, inshallah. My fourth and final section here is to protect your heart in a busy environment. In school and work, you are going to hear and see things that pull you away from your deen, and it is so important that you have the discipline to stay away or not accept what people are saying or seeing or talking about or doing. It can be very, very performative, and it is also very, very difficult at times to not feel like, well, maybe I should be doing that, maybe I should be saying that, maybe I should act that way. Really ground yourself. You're going to see things, you're going to hear things that pull you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is just so, so important that you guard your heart and your time. Understand that some people don't have the best intentions for you. Some people don't have the best intentions for themselves. Being able to identify those with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within your dua, within your adhkar, within your salah, everything is going to ground you back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Being able to look at a group of people and be like, yeah, that's not the type of group I want to be a part of, and that's okay. You don't need to fit in, you don't need to be like everyone else. And that is something I find incredibly difficult when it comes into like college or high school even, because it's very difficult to not absorb that kind of behavior, and it's very difficult to stay away from it, because if everyone around you is doing it, you feel like, well, why not, why wouldn't I, I'm not gonna have any friends if I don't do or say X, Y, and Z. And also understanding that sometimes when you're overwhelmed or you are stressed, it is very easy to fall into the bad habits and the bad mindsets and the bad everything. So whether it's gossiping at work or with your friends, or skipping your salah because you guys want to go hang out at a coffee shop, or neglecting the Quran because you have too much to study, all those things happen when you are overworked or overwhelmed or overstimulated or whatever it may be. And now I personally try to be more intentional with where I'm putting my time. If I don't feel like hanging out with those people, I'm not going to be hanging out with those people. If I don't feel like those people are serving me and my iman and my deen, I'm not going to be hanging out with you. And I'm so quick to cut people off because I'm protecting my peace and my iman and my dua. Now I personally try to be super intentional with who I'm hanging out with, how I'm acting, how I carry myself, where's my time going, where are my words going, and how are my words and actions affecting other people? Is it positive? Is it negative? Being very, very intentional with everything that you do is it's the key to life. You have to be that way. So some tips that I have for this type of thing, especially because this is probably the more difficult one to get across, and I think I want to make a completely separate video on just this topic here. Let me know what y'all feel like. But some tips that I have for this category here is to surround yourself with people that remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If your friend group is out doing crazy stuff that you don't really align with or you don't feel comfortable with, don't hang out with those type of people, because the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that you need to be very aware of the people you're around, because you will turn into them. And in American or English terms, a lot of people say that you are the average of your friend group. So if you don't like your friend group or they're all weird and crazy, you are the average of them, because their actions are influencing you, even if you don't think that they are. If you're like, no, but I'm not out doing these crazy things, or I'm not acting that way, or I'm not talking like this or behaving like this, you are the average of them, because you are slowly absorbing that kind of behavior. And so you need to be very, very careful of who you're surrounding yourself with. So if you feel like your friend groups are not benefiting you, it is probably best to just be alone. I would rather be alone than be around the wrong group of people. And that is something that a lot of people have a difficult time adjusting to or even like considering. I think that's also something that we all need to work on as a society, is to be okay with being alone for once. This one tip is going for far too long, but I seriously, it is such a big deal to me. This entire section here is like my whole existence. I could talk about this for days. Surround yourself with people that make you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if they don't, cut them off and work on yourself. It is not that difficult. A lot of people make it more difficult than it seems, and it is not that crazy. It is okay for you to be alone. It is okay for you to take the time to work on your iman and your deen and strengthen your deen. Like, that is far more rewarding than being around the wrong group of people that could actually drag you away from your deen and your salah and all of that. So be very, very cautious of who you're around. Another thing that I would highly recommend, especially in this world of social media, is to curate your social media pages. Curate what you're watching, because you need to be very, again, very cautious of what you're consuming, because again, that is stuff that you are consuming that is, you know, shifting your mindset on certain things, shifting your perspective on life, shifting your perspective on topics like salah or marriage or discipline, stuff like that. So being very cautious of what you are consuming on social media, curating your social media pages to fit what you want in your mindsets at your time. So if you're more into learning about salah and your deen and everything, you know, switch your content, start unliking some things and start curating. You know, if y'all are not aware, your social media platforms are created in a way that they are tracking everything you like, everything you know, skip past, everything you save, everything you share. They take all that into account on curating your pages, and your For You pages or your home pages. You know, if you're more into reading and all that, you know, you'll find that your whole page is more reading or book talk, stuff like that. But if you know, are on like more content that's like more entertaining and funny, you'll see that that's a lot more, because that's what you're liking. And so maybe start searching up different topics that you're interested in and start learning and liking that kind of content, so that it can curate your pages. And again, I can go on this topic for days. I'm obsessed with social media marketing. This is where my little nerdiness comes out. But if you want to learn more about that, you know, let me know. Curate your pages to what you want to learn about, what you want to see. If, for instance, you are seeing a lot of people that are, you know, not dressing the way you should or that you would like or that you're comfortable with on your pages, start unliking, start being like uninterested in that kind of content. There's buttons for that now, so it helps the algorithm curate your pages a lot more towards you. That's what I did. I started unfollowing a bunch of creators that I did not align with, whether they dressed a certain way or they acted like this, or, you know, their behavior, because, you know, it's just like, I don't want to be seeing that, because again, you will be consuming that and it will subconsciously become your own mindset. So be very cautious of what you are consuming. Another thing is to say no to activities or events or people that compromise your deen, even if it's just once. If you are going to a event that is compromising your deen in any way, don't go. Say no. It's okay to skip out on certain things. You are protecting yourself and your peace and everything, and that is far more valuable than one night of crazy chaos, destructive behavior. I don't want to say more than that, but just be very, very, again, this whole section is just be cautious of everyone and everything around you. So be very cautious. Just be very cautious. That's all I can say. Just, you know, make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps you away from bad people and gets you closer to the right people, or makes you a righteous person for the right people and gets you closer to the right people. There's a lot of dua. There's a lot of things out there that can help you align more with that. And it is okay. Again, guys, I'll keep saying it. It's okay to be alone for a while to be better. It's okay. Disappear, reinvent yourself, and come back stronger than ever. It is okay to do that. And I would highly recommend doing that. That's what I did. And subhanAllah, here we are, doing a lot better than ever. At the end of the day, balancing school, work, and your iman and your faith and everything, it is not about it being perfect. It's about it being consistent. It's about showing up for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even when you feel like giving up, trusting that He will guide you and see your efforts and reward you for all your hard work. And if you take one thing from this episode, let it be that when you put Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first, you will find that everything else pretty much starts falling into place. When you start prioritizing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your busy day, you will see that there's so much barakah coming from it. I really hope that you guys benefited from this episode, and subhanAllah, it's about to start raining again. Let me know in the comments what kind of content y'all want to see, and I'm really happy to be back. And if y'all want more semester college life videos, I would be more than happy to make them, because I'm a college student myself and it's coming to an end. So I would love to create content on how I got through it and everything like that. But yeah, let me know what kind of content y'all want to see, and it has been a pleasure to see y'all today. I wish you all the very best, and inshallah, I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.